This is Michael Luchies from the Collegiate Entrepreneurs Organization, joined by Barefoot Wine founders Michael Houlihan and Bonnie Harvey. Michael and Bonnie, thanks a lot for joining me.
Hi, good to be here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you. Barefoot is America's #1 wine brand. How was the company started?
It was started in our laundry room. That was our very first office. And we were fortunate to have some extra space in there because we couldn't afford a washer and dryer. So we used it as our office. We actually started in debt. I had a client who wasn't getting paid for his grapes, and eventually we were able to negotiate a trade from the winery that owed him for his grapes. We collected bulk wine and bottling services, and that was the very beginning of Barefoot Wines. Then the big challenge came to get it out there in the marketplace and sell it.
And so we asked the buyer from the top supermarket in California what he wanted, and wow, he said, nobody's ever asked me what I wanted. Everybody told me what they had to sell, and since you asked, I'll tell you. And he told us in a rather humorous way, and we had to translate it. And we finally did, and we figured out exactly what he wanted. And we gave it to him, and we said, here, what do you think of this? And he said, are you guys crazy? He says, I can't put this in. We said, but it's exactly what you asked for. He said, yeah, he says, but nobody's ever heard of this name Barefoot, and besides, you got a foot on the label. What are you guys doing up there in Sonoma County? Are you crazy? So that was that's how Barefoot got started, and it was kind of a rough start, believe me.
Was it something because the foot associated with wine, they didn't like that image?
Well, that's why we put the foot on the label, but he was used to seeing chateaus and squirrely script and leaps and hills and valleys and all this stuff, and he'd never seen anything like a foot before, and he just didn't think that his customers were going to buy it. But apparently that was one issue that he was wrong about.
Yeah, lucky for us. We put the foot on the label because that's the way grapes were crushed originally, and we chose the foot because it was an image that could be seen from 4 feet away. It was an image that people could readily identify with. It was the same name as the image, so Barefoot and the image of the foot. And it was easy to pronounce, easy to recognize. So from a marketing standpoint, we thought that we had covered all the bases, but what we forgot was that the gatekeepers were used to the old way of doing business, and we were pioneering with a new idea, and so many young entrepreneurs today come up with great ideas, but they forget that, the old guard is the one that's allowing it to get to market, so they have to convince the old guard that, hey, this is going to work. So there is some missionary work involved.
Put a mouse mascot with a food brand, but that worked pretty well for Chuck E. Cheese as well.
Yeah. Well, wine and cheese goes great together, we always say.
Have you both always been entrepreneurial?
Well, yes, as a matter of fact, we have. I was a consultant, and so was Michael, here in the wine country. We both chose to live here because we loved the weather and the redwoods and the ocean, and it has some of the best growing conditions and soil here of any place in the world, and that's one of the reasons why we get such good grapes and great wines coming out of this region in Sonoma County, Northern California. And as business consultants, we learned a lot about business and a lot of different kinds of businesses, and we really began to recognize our true worth and how we could help our clients in a better way. But neither of us really knew anything about the wine industry.
And my background, really, I worked for the federal government, and I was one of those bureaucrats, in a gray office with a tie on and everything, and, waiting for my boss to die to get a raise and things like that because everything was so structured. And I really became aware of the corporate mentality of squashing good ideas and, keeping ideas from getting to the top and, basically muffling communication if there was any between departments. And so when I quit my job, I didn't quit my job. I quit the idea of having a job. And so I became an entrepreneur on that day. And when I left my corporate job, my grandmother said, "But you left that federal government job with all that security, Michael. How could you do that?"
Now, what made you both believe that you could turn a laundry room wine operation into a successful business?
Well, for one thing, we didn't know any better, and I think that ignorance is bliss sometimes. Here we said, well, we just made this trade. We've got all this wine. We have all these bottling services from this bankrupt winery. We'll just slap a label on it, and, we'll sell it. How hard could that be? And so we jumped in with faith in our idea. We got a lot of good advice. I think one of the reasons we thought it would be successful is because we made friends in low places. And when I say low places, I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I mean, these are people who run forklifts and who drive trucks and who, move things around on a forklift in a warehouse, or they're clerks in a store. They put bottles on a shelf, or they're buyers in a supermarket. And so we asked everybody their ideas and, what was missing and, what would fit in. And when we got their opinions, we knew that we were close to the ground. We knew that we had a good idea. We knew that a $5 bottle of wine that was true varietal, that was consistent flavor and taste, with a humorous and carefree label, we knew it was going to make it, even though we really ran into a lot of bumps and, as we say, bricks for the day.
Now, you identified that one of the keys was getting into the stores. What have been some of the other keys to the company's success?
Well, as Michael said, we asked a lot of people what they thought. We went into the communities around the markets that carried our product, and we asked the people what they were interested in. And we found out about the local fundraisers and the nonprofits that existed in the area, and we supported those. And that was really the biggest key to our success. We put ourselves in our customers' shoes, and we said, what is important to you? And we saw how we could use our product to benefit their causes. And therefore, we gave them, the members of the nonprofits in the community, we gave them a social reason to buy our product. And I'm sure that was a key to our success. We really didn't pay for advertising in any of the conventional ways. We always used local fundraisers and support for nonprofits.
And I think the other key to our success is we outsourced everything we could, and I don't mean to China. We outsourced them right within our own communities. But what we did is we maintained quality control and reduced headache by just saying to people that we were outsourcing to, look, we will not pay for this product or this service unless it meets these specifications. And if we had a problem, we'd add a new specification. And so, if you produce a product or a service, within your own walls, in your own halls, well, you're under a great deal of financial pressure to put it out on the market because you have so much invested in it. But when you have somebody else do it to your specification and your policeman watches them do the job for you and can stop the music anytime during that production, well, then you have much better control over quality and also finance, because now you don't have to pay for it if it isn't exactly right. So that was another key to our success.
Putting the wine on the shelves, the toughest barrier, and if not, what was the toughest barrier you had to overcome, and how were you able to overcome it?
Well, like so many companies starting off, you don't have enough funds to really stretch to make all the payments that you need to make. Well, we were late on our payments, okay? So what do? I was in charge of juggling, I called it. I juggled accounts payable and accounts receivable, and it was a very tough job. And when I saw that my receivables weren't going to cover my payables, the first thing I did is I called up the people that we owed money to. And I said, I know that I've got an invoice that's due in 2 weeks, and I'm not going to be able to pay it on time. I know that you're going to use the funds, or you were planning on using the funds that I owe you to pay your own bills, and I want to give you a heads up. I want to let you know that I have 2 checks that are coming in after the due date on this invoice, and they're both earmarked for you. And I'm going to be able to pay my bill and have it paid in a timely manner about 2 weeks after it's due, and I certainly hope that you will accept that. And they said, well, yeah, people don't usually call us when they're late. We have to call them and beg for our payment. And they said, we really appreciate your call. You have empathy for the situation that we're in, and because of that, we're going to extend your credit and extend your terms. And because I, again, put myself in the other guy's shoes, what is it that you're looking for? What is it that you need? We were able to overcome this hardship that all new businesses have to deal with, which is not enough funds to cover your bills.
And in our book, The Barefoot Spirit, How Hardship, Hustle, and Heart Built America's #1 wine brand, one of the themes that's reoccurring is this whole business of identifying and working with strategic allies. It's about what is your attitude toward the people you work with, the people you contract with, the people you owe money to, the people you're selling to. You know, what is your attitude? Do you make the salesman wait in the hall because he's a salesman, because he's just a salesman, because he's trying to sell you something, because he's trying to trick you out of your money? Is that your attitude? Or do you treat him like gold and open the red carpet up for him because you know that he's got information on your industry that you need, and you know that when things are on sale, he's going to let you know first. When there's a closeout, he's going to let you know first. So that's the whole idea here. The idea is to be smart about how to treat people. When you empathize with the other guy's position, they're more likely to bend the rules. They're more likely to give you key pieces of information. They want to do business with you. They want to see you succeed. Now, when you start a business, you have to ask yourself, who else is going to benefit if I benefit? Who's going to make money if I make money? And those are the people who are your strategic allies, and you got to treat them like partners.
That's great advice. On behalf of the Collegiate Entrepreneurs Organization, I want to thank Michael and Bonnie for agreeing to speak at the 2013 about.
I'm sorry, Michael, but you broke up.
Sure, no problem. What will you be speaking about to students at the CEO National Conference in Chicago?
We're going to be talking to these young entrepreneurs about the challenges that they are about to face. We just came out of that dark, creepy tunnel that they're about to go into, and we've learned a lot of lessons over the 30 years that we've been together and been working together. We're going to tell them such things as how to find the help you need, how to hire and keep the best people, how to reduce your need for capital, increase your credit and terms, grow your brand, increase your sales, reduce your overhead, improve your company culture and reduce turnover, improve your business practices, gain new customers and increase customer loyalty and retention, and there's a bonus. You will laugh while you learn.
Yeah, it's all pretty entertaining stuff because it's real world. Everybody knows Barefoot is the #1 brand in the country. They don't realize it started in a laundry room, just like many of these collegiate entrepreneurs. I'm sure they started in their garage or their laundry room or some warehouse somewhere. That's just fine. You know, we started the same way as they did, and we're not that much different than they are. So, you know, obviously they've got challenges. No money. You know, the solution is innovation and taking inventory of what you do have. You know, if you don't have any knowledge of your industry, ask questions. And guess what? You might revolutionize your industry and get top-notch advice. So all of these kinds of things, these are attitudes. We call this the Barefoot Spirit. And we're going to give people encouragement. We're going to inspire them, and we're going to empower them. We're going to give them tools that they can use the very next day in their business that's going to make difference in dollars and cents.
Great. Now, you touched on your book just a little bit there, The Barefoot Spirit, which has been very successful. It's been 8 weeks on New York Times business book bestseller list. What is the book about, and why do you think people should read it?
Well, the full title of the book is The Barefoot Spirit, How Hardship, Hustle, and Heart Built America's #1 Wine Brand. And this is 20 years of experience starting in our laundry room without any money, without any knowledge of the industry. And it's the lessons that we've learned. The book has stories in it that demonstrate the various challenges that we had and how we were able to solve them. And it's a fun read. Through hardship, it will become opportunity when you use hustle. And opportunity becomes success when it comes from the heart. And these stories that we tell in the book are not only fun to read, but they're all very educational. And they deal with all the challenges that people who have small businesses or who are thinking of starting small businesses will be experiencing. So it's not only fun to read, but it's also very educational.
And I just want to add to that, I always recoil when somebody says, oh, it's a business book. I go, oh, no, not another prescriptive text, with here's the 3 things you got to do, the 10 things to never do, and the 27 things your customer wants from you today. And, we didn't write a book like that. Our book is a seat-of-your-pants adventure story where you wonder if Michael and Bonnie are going to make it from day to day. And they do make it, but the way they make it is by being resourceful and creative and using the American entrepreneurial spirit, which is we can do this. We believe there's a solution. We don't know where it is. It might be cockamamie. It might come off the wall or from left field. We'll take it wherever it is. And so here we create this brand, and the DNA becomes the largest wine brand in the United States. And we do it because of an attitude. So the book, the best compliment we got for this book so far is from a 21-year-old who said, wow, that's the first business book I ever finished.
Now, in your experiences as entrepreneurs, what has been your most rewarding experience?
Well, that is an excellent question, Michael. And I have to say, as we started off with no funds and no knowledge of the industry we were about to get into, that was a challenge that if we hadn't had that challenge, we never would have built the #1 best-selling wine brand in the nation. And the rewarding experience was being able to turn these challenges into a success. The challenge of not having funds for paid advertising pushed us into worthy cause marketing. And when we're dealing with worthy cause marketing, we had such great results with the memberships wanting to buy our product and supporting us. And now I look back and I see the thousands of nonprofits and community fundraisers that have benefited because of our product. So we never really wanted to be this great wine on the shelf. That's not enough. You've really got to do something much bigger and grander. You've got to stand for more than the product or service that your company is offering. And what we stand for now is worthy cause marketing and encouraging entrepreneurs, and that is certainly a most rewarding experience.
The other thing that is very rewarding for us is, we speak to students and we travel and we write and everything, but our day job is as consultants. And it's very rewarding for us to use the principles that we speak about and we've written about with real businesses and real people and see their businesses turn around. One of our clients is now in the Inc. 500. It's in the top half of the Inc. 500. When we met the guy, he had a business. He was doing about $500,000 a year gross. He was in 2 lawsuits. He was upside down about 190, and he was about 90 days late. Now he's going to do $13 million this year. He's in the Inc. 500. He's got no legal entanglements, and he's very profitable. And he's the go-to guy in his niche of the industry. So that's what's rewarding to us, is to see that we can help others and really make a difference in their bottom line.
Great. Why do you believe in supporting young entrepreneurs?
Well, they're going to be the success of our country. Working in a big corporation, things kind of tend to stay the same. It's hard to make changes oftentimes in a large corporation. But young entrepreneurs come up with new ideas. They're quick on their feet. They can make changes quickly according to the changes in the marketplace. And they really care a lot about what they're doing. And they're exciting to work with, and they're very creative.
The other reason that we like working with young entrepreneurs is, we just had a big recession. And, for a lot of college grads today, self-employment is really the only form of employment. Those middle management jobs that you were geared for when you came out of business school, they're just not there. So we like the idea of supporting young entrepreneurs because we can give them something that isn't taught in school, which is the experiential development of certain guiding principles that they can hold all their decisions up against. And they're understandable, and they're easy, and they're relatable. And so those guiding principles, when added to the enthusiasm and passion of a youthful entrepreneur, it's just a win-win situation.
Great. And finish up with one last question here. What's your best piece of advice for young entrepreneurs?
Well, that is probably the most important question you could ask. And I would say the most important thing for a young entrepreneur to understand is no matter how grand your idea is for a product or a service, or how you know that everyone's going to want it and need it, and everyone you know thinks it's really the best thing since sliced bread, no one's going to buy it unless you can get it to market. And when you finish your R&D, the next thing to do is to actually sell your product, and that can be very difficult. There's so many young people out there that think having a good idea is going to make them successful. And what really takes is good marketing, good understanding of the distribution system, and understanding how to make a sale. And that is absolutely required to be successful.
So the advice really goes like this. Start small, start slow, get good advice, make your mistakes, and you're going to make mistakes, in a small geographical area so you can drive around in your car if need be with your hat in your hand and apologize to people for the mistakes and learn the lessons that you're going to learn, in a small area so you can get your act together before you take your show on the road. If you try to go national or too big too fast and you make a mistake, it hurts your reputation, 20,000-fold. It's much easier to, if you're going to be silly and make a fool out of yourself like we did, do it in a small area. And you go, oh, I see what I have to do over here. I wonder if that would be the same rules in New York. Oh, yes, it would. Boy, I'm glad I wasn't in New York with this idea. I'm glad I polished it up and shook it down and got the bugs out of it. So even though you think your idea is great, you'd be surprised. You can be stopped in the distribution system because your packaging doesn't work. You can be stopped at retail because your labeling doesn't work. You can be stopped on the internet because you didn't make the right kind of presentation in the right media. There's all kinds of ways that can stop your idea that have nothing to do with its price or its quality or how many people want it. It all has to do with, can you get it to them? So that'd be our number one piece of advice, is get it to market.
Great. And this has been Michael Luchies with Barefoot Wine Founders, Michael Houlihan and Bonnie Harvey. Their book is The Barefoot Spirit, How Hardship, Hustle, and Heart Built America's #1 wine brand. And they'll be speaking at the upcoming 2013 CEO National Conference. Michael and Bonnie, thanks again.
Thank you, Michael. It has been a real pleasure.
Yes, it's been a pleasure.